News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
And just like that, it's winter. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Monday, November 10th, 2014. Right now we have a cloudy sky, a little snow on the ground. I got up this morning, looked outside about 3 a.m. and said, oh, gosh, the weatherman was right. There will be snow on the ground Monday morning, and sure enough, there is. It's just enough to cool a hobbit's toes, as Tolkien would say. But still, we do have about a couple inches up at the airport, anywhere but perhaps a foot up in the mountains. We'll get to that here momentarily. First, though, our newscast sponsored by Temp-Rite Service. For all of your plumbing and heating needs, going to get very cold. Make sure your furnace is working. Call Team Blue, 728-1111. And again, it is winter. The remnants of a major Pacific typhoon made their way from Canada into western Montana last night, with snow starting to fall just before midnight. Meteorologist Travis Booth with the National Weather Service in Missoula has more.
Here in the Missoula area, the snow started just before midnight, and there was a few periods where it was fairly heavy, and now it just seems to be light across the region. Here at the airport, we received somewhere between 2.5 and 3 inches so far.
Booth says the biggest concern for Missoula area residents isn't the snow, but the bitter cold wind chill temperatures on the way.
Wind chills Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning could range anywhere from -10 to -20 below. But in the valley itself, it looks like it won't be too bad, maybe 10 to 15 miles per hour. But if you're over by Hellgate Canyon, you certainly could see some gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour at times.
There's a winter storm warning for western Montana until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Much of Montana will see several inches of snow, upwards of 10 inches possible in the mountains. A 62-year-old Connor fisherman was struck and killed by a falling tree yesterday during one of several wind events that occurred in Ravalli County. Sheriff Chris Hoffman told me the initial call was due to downed trees that had blocked Highway 93.
At about 12:54 p.m., Ravalli County 911 received a report of trees down across Highway 93 near mile marker 19, 4 miles south of Connor. There were also reports of power outages in the area. Emergency crews were dispatched and traffic was blocked in both directions on Highway 93.
Not long after, he said responders were alerted by barking dogs to a situation down in the river bottom of the Bitterroot River.
At about 1:25 p.m., members of the Sewell Fire Department heard dogs barking in the river bottom and went down to investigate. They located a man who had been hit by a blown down tree, and although they were able to remove the tree from him, he was dead at the scene.
The man's name is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. Staying with Sheriff Hoffman for a moment, a small plane crashed around 9 o'clock Friday morning in Ravalli County. Hoffman spoke to KGVO News just after the crash.
We had a small plane appear to make a forced landing out south of Darby. 2 occupants, both appear to be male adults, both transported away from the scene. There's fire department on scene. Obviously, word out there. We'll guard it until FAA gets here. It's their investigation.
Darby Fire Chief Mark Snavely was one of the first responders.
We were asked to respond to a plane crash. We got there, found out that we had to extricate 2 people out of a small plane. We cut off doors, cut off sides of the plane, and were able to pull the 2 people out. I'm not a paramedic or a doctor, but they didn't seem to be that bad, although you can never tell.
Snavely said one of the men appeared to have broken ankle, but that both men were lucid and talking freely. The crash occurred about 2 miles south of Darby near a Hunter's Check station. Advocates of same-sex marriage predict that homosexual marriage will soon be a reality in Montana. 4 same-sex couples filed suit in May seeking the right to marry in Montana. U.S. District Judge Brian Morris is scheduled to hear arguments in that case in Great Falls on November 20th. Montana Democratic Senator John Tester has taken his campaign for campaign finance reform to Harvard Law School. He told a group of law professors and federal election officials there Friday that big money and a wealthy few are drowning out the voices of, quote, regular folks, end quote. Tester, back in 2013, introduced a constitutional amendment aimed at limiting rights of corporations to spend in elections. The amendment awaits a vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee. The first year of a compliance agreement between the City of Missoula and the Department of Justice has brought positive changes in the way sexual assault reports are being handled by the police department. The report, compiled by independent reviewer Tom Tremblay, is the third so far. Captain Mike Collier with the Missoula Police Department said there have been some remarkable improvements in several areas.
Sexual violence is clearly one of the most underreported crimes, and so we know that there's a lot of victims in the past that had not reported, and so we feel good that we're getting them to come in the door and talk to us about it, but it does not reflect an increase in sexual violence in Missoula.
Collier says the department's already complied with a majority of the issues set forward in that agreement.
We have a compliance graph that's included in the report, and there is 24 categories that we're working towards compliance on. Of the 24, we have met compliance status in 19 of those categories.
He cites the remaining categories the department will be addressing in the coming months.
They really can be summed up into three big areas, and one is continued data analysis, collection and analysis, and the other two are two projects that are underway, which is the victim and advocate surveys and the safety and accountability audit.
The 2-year agreement was initially signed May 15th, 2013. It'll be completed May 15th of next year. Parents were warned Friday about a mountain lion that had been spotted in the Moose Can Gully area of Missoula's South Hills. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Park spokeswoman Vivica Krauser has details.
They had spotted a mountain lion pursuing a house cat on their property. So that report came in. There has not been additional sightings since then, but there was an alert that went out from the public schools to parents to just let them know that this sighting had happened, just to be extra cautious in case the lion is hanging around and was not just passing through.
A similar incident occurred in the same area last fall. Krauser says the lion could be a problem if it decides to hang around the area.
It might have been an isolated incident, but if we do get more reports, then probably the best thing that can happen is to get those reports to us just as soon as you can so that we can get out there and respond with hounds that can track the lion, and then that would be a situation where we would remove the lion.
Bob Weisner with Fish, Wildlife, and Parks is on call with a team of dogs waiting for mountain lion reports. Call Weisner at 240-3296 as soon as possible if you see a mountain lion in Missoula. According to Krauser, the house cat that was attacked managed to escape. News Talk time now is 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Snow-covered roads for the morning commute, and we'll see areas of snow showers throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and cold with our highs in the upper 20s. Winds will be breezy with wind gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.